right, welcome. It is 5 o'clock on Monday, October 7th, 2024. This is a meeting of the City Council of the City of Cape Girardeau, a regular council meeting. We thank you all for being here. We, as always, will begin with an invocation and then follow that with a Pledge of Allegiance, and we're doing something a little bit different for the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, but we will begin with our invocation by Reverend Geneva Allen Patterson of St. James AME Church. And so if you all would please rise and join us for that.
If you would bow your heads. Oh Lord, we come before you with gratitude tonight. We thank you for making each of us in this room, every citizen of this city in your image, Lord, with dignity and with worth. We thank you for these, your servants, dear Lord, our mayor, our city manager, the city staff, the city council members, and the service, Lord, that they give us. We come into this space, some of us carrying burdens. Some may have even come tonight to throw stones. But we ask that you give us joy, hope, and trust that you alone will hold us together tonight in peace as this meeting proceeds. So we pray that you will be glorified through the decisions that are made tonight. We pray that justice will be served as we do what is right and what is good for all our citizens. Tonight, especially for Ward 5, as we put their interests above our own, as we choose among the 7 candidates who are asked to be considered: Ryan Essett, Tamara Givens, Rachel Hubble, Brian Johnson, James Lawrence, Eric Redinger, and Shannon Trexel. We be in prayer for each of them. So may we be good neighbors, Lord, as we recognize your image in our beloved city, and as we treat one another as we would want to be treated. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Yeah, well, we're going to, let me, if you can remain standing, let me just let everybody understand what's going on with our Pledge of Allegiance. We have with us tonight the Scouting America Troop 22, which is an all-female troop here in the city, which is sponsored, okay. It is sponsored by Grace United Methodist Church, and they are here tonight while working on their Citizenship in the Community badge. So if y'all have anything for me to check off, I'll be happy to do that. But the troop is led by Justin Kane and Andrew Stone, also by Charlie Herbst, who is our city's county commissioner, who's a teacher in the troop. So if there is someone from the troop who would like to come up and say a few words, and then we would love it if the troop would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hi, my name is Andrew Stone. I'm the Assistant Scoutmaster with Troop 22. We really appreciate you all letting us join you today to learn more about our community and how government works. And we appreciate everything you do for our great city and hope you continue to do a great job. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Does someone want to come to the podium, or how would you like to do that? I'll let you all. Somebody gets picked. Yeah, just how about the whole troop? Come forward. The whole strength in numbers. There we go. Troop 22, come on up. Come on, troop. Please come on. You're part of it. Yeah, just come. Okay, so the microphone is right there. So just surround the podium. Smush around. There you go. There you go. And we're going to get ready, and whenever you all kick us off, we'll join you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whew, thank you. Thank you very much. Troop 22.
I apologize. I thought
No,
maybe.
that's okay. I did not forget. We don't have any study sessions or presentations tonight, so we'll begin with our communications and reports. I would like to start us off by letting the whole community know what is actually going on with all the processes that we're going to undergo both tonight and in the future regarding filling the vacant Ward 5 seat. Tonight, in the discussion portion of our meeting, we will hear from any applicants who wish to speak and discuss their application with the City Council for that Ward 5 seat. The council has received 7 completed applications for this seat, and I want to thank each and every one of those applicants for rising to the occasion, for the interest in their position, stepping up for the ward, and essentially volunteering for this kind of public service. It's greatly appreciated. All the applicants presented great credentials and applications, and I'm sure any one of them would be a great representative for Ward 5. We unfortunately can only vote for one person tonight, and while it's never a good process to have an elected position filled by an appointment, that is what the City Council is required to do through our procedure. When the City Council has a vacancy, we act in accordance with our city charter and follow those procedures to fill this seat. We've taken applications over the past week, and we will vote for someone tonight. That person will be sworn in at the next regular City Council meeting, and then will be a fully qualified City Council member. That person will only serve until the next special election is able to be held, which will be April 8th of 2025. And on that date, Ward 5 residents will vote and elect their representative to fill the remainder of former council member Rhett Pierce's term, which will be for the next 3 full years until April of 2028. So if anyone is interested in running for that Ward 5 seat in the April 2025 election, you may begin to pick up your petition forms this Thursday. Candidates will need to get 50 signatures of registered voters in Ward 5, as well as meet other conditions for City Council candidates. The official sign-up process for candidacy will begin on October 22nd and go through November 19th. And additional information for candidates is already posted to the city website at cityofcape.org on the city homepage. And certainly, if you have any questions, calling our city clerk, Ms. Conrad, right over there, she will be able to answer any and all questions I'm confident that anybody might have. We will be voting on the Ward 5 vacant seat position toward the end of our meeting tonight under the appointments portion of our meeting. And that's all I have on that. Other council?
I was just going to say one point of clarification, because if there are more than one qualified applicant for, or candidates for the position, there'll be a primary, which would be February 4th, which would be right around the corner.
Thank you, Nate. Yes.
Yeah.
Great. To whittle it down to 2.
Did what?
If there's more than 2.
I meant more than 2. Thank you for the clarification. Yes. My
Thank
bad.
you. There would be a primary in February to whittle it down to 2, so that only 2 show up on the April ballot. Thanks, Nate.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate that. Other comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, as a friend of Rhett's for a long time, I just want to speak in his behalf. I don't condone at all what he did. It was shock and awe, and actually created quite a bit of anger in me as his friend for what he's done to us, and actually the council and the city. He really surprised us all. But I can tell you that Rhett is a good guy. He was a great athlete. He was a Hall of Fame at Cape Central for baseball and football. He went to SEMO on a scholarship to play baseball. He had a great job as a electrical contractor. He did a lot of good things in his life. And I can tell you meth, I know a lot about that, not as a user, but as a family member of one who went through that for 25 years. It takes no prisoners. It does not discriminate if you're rich, poor, white, whatever you are. It does not discriminate. And it leads a great wake of path in this destruction, financially, emotionally, physically, and it actually can kill. Rhett fell prey to one of Satan's greatest tools. And as the Reverend Alan Patterson described, we are not here to judge, And Rhett needs our prayers more than our condemnation and judgment. So please, I ask of you as a friend of his to pray for him that he gets the help that he needs, because he's a fairly young man and he still has a lot of life in front of him if he chooses to lead the right path. So thank you.
Any other reports?
You know, I just always like to jump out there and tell folks this was an absolute beautiful weekend to be in the city of Cape Girardeau. And so this is one of this weather that we've had over these past couple of days. Hopefully it gets everybody outside and gets everyone engaged in all of the wonderful things that this community has to offer. These beautiful fall days where it's kind of a little cool and a little more tolerable, less humidity. Hopefully it gets you out of your house and to realize what an extraordinary community that we have around us. And so thank you all, especially everybody here with the Scouts. Thank you guys for being here today to take part in this process. This is a really important thing to have you guys witness. I know you think it's boring. This is probably not the most exciting thing you wanted to do with your Monday afternoon. However, this is a great lesson in understanding where most of the government that interacts your daily life gets started. Municipal governance is the government that really impacts your daily life. When your trash gets picked up, what things happen at the Parks and Rec department. And so these are really interesting things for you to witness, and it's interesting things for you to see firsthand. So thank you guys for coming out tonight. Hopefully you get to learn a little something, and then this maybe will pique your interest in serving in the future. So thank you all for being here.
Thanks. Any other communications? All right. Moving on then, we have several items for discussion. First, appearances by advisory board applicants, and then the consent agenda review. We will, I will first ask if anyone in an advisory board, for an advisory board position is interested in coming forward. And then after that, I will ask if anyone here is an applicant for the Ward 5 spot, that you may, if you wish, come to the podium and introduce yourself as well. So first, are there anyone in the audience wishing to come forward as an advisory board applicant? Yes. Yes, please. And if you would, introduce yourself and tell us where you live and what you're all about.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Brock Freeman. 918 College, Ward 2. To begin, I am applying for the Planning and Zoning Advisory Board Commission. A little bit about me. I'm currently a master's in public administration student at the Southeast Missouri State University. I'm in my first semester. I recently graduated in May with the Bachelor's of Science in Political Science and Criminal Justice, summa cum laude. During my time at Southeast Missouri State University, I was on student government as a humanities, social sciences senator. I served there for 1 semester. Moving forward, this last June, I was asked by the Porch Initiative to continue my service here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. I'm currently an independent contractor where I work with Porch in various different roles. Moving forward, I was also asked by the City Council, or by the Mayor of Cape Girardeau, the City of Cape Girardeau, to be on the Transportation Trust Fund Committee, where I have worked with other members of our community to ensure we can present a plan to the City Council. Moving forward, I also volunteer in a number of different roles. I volunteer with Old Town Cape. I try to be there as much as I can, usually every Saturday. Sometimes that's not always consistent. I'm also a Rotary Club member. I joined the Southeast Missouri Service Rotary Club in May. I also recently, in September, became a card-carrying member of my local Elks Lodge 639 because I believe in God and I have a supreme fidelity to our Constitution. Moving forward, I've facilitated a number of successful community grants that invest right here in our community. First of all, I wrote a grant for the corner grocery store to invest in their business, as well as worked with Porch and the local Realtors Association to continue investing in South Cape and specific to Rainey Park. So overall, the reason I want to be a part of the Planning and Zoning Commission is because I have a passion for community development. I feel like along with the work that I've done professionally as well with my business, community revitalization is where my heart is, and it's a place that I want to continue to serve. And lastly, I'll close out. One of the things as a community and public servant moving forward, I've found the ability to source funding to invest in local projects that invest right here in our communities in Southeast Missouri, in Cape Girardeau. And I am only a first-year master's student, so with your help and with your recommendation, I would love to continue to serve our city in whatever capacity you would like me to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Appreciate it. Anyone else in the audience wishing to appear as an advisory board applicant? Yes.
Hello, I am Emily McElreath. I will keep this short and sweet. I applied to fill the open seat on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I did this because I have been selling real estate in Cape for 13 years. Through that, I have gotten to know a lot on how zoning affects not only residents, but businesses as well. I'm also a lifelong community member. I love Cape. I love to see the growth and the exciting things happening here, and anything that I can do to be of service and to step up and volunteer my time, I'm ready to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Good evening. My name's Kent Ward. I am here for the Airport Advisory Board position. I've been a resident of Cape Girardeau for the past 38 years. Over the past 5 or 6 years, I've been utilizing the Cape Airport for business travel. Doing so, I started paying attention to what was going on at our airport and comparing it to other airports. And I'll tell you, the last 3 or 4 years, things have really got exciting there. I noticed that SEMO started the aeronautical program. Also, we have some new hangars going up in the new terminal, which opened last week. So it didn't take long for my appreciation of our airport to turn to interest. And what I started doing was researching some of the old airport advisory board agendas and minutes. And I strongly believe, because of my personal interest and my business skill set, that I would be a good selection for the Airport Advisory Board. I appreciate your consideration, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Anyone else for advisory board applicants? No? All right. Hearing none then, I will open us up to anyone who wishes to come forward and speak for the Ward 5 seat. Yes.
Hi there. I'll go first because I don't have anything negative to say about anybody else, so I don't need to hear what they want to say first. But first and foremost, I would like to commend all of the people that did step forward to fill this empty seat. So thank you very much if you're in the room. Reverend Geneva Allen Patterson, thank you so much for holding us up in prayer. That's very appreciated. And like you said, I'm not here to throw stones, and that's why I have no problem going first, because I just want to keep this positive and tell you who I am and why I care. I moved here in September of 2003 to work at SEMO, and my family was still in South Dakota at the time. My beautiful wife is over here. Our 2 sons are now grown-ups, and we're empty nesters, so we have time to actually commit to things like this. I lived in Dearmont, an empty wing, for a month, so I was highly motivated to find a home. And on October 3rd of 2003, we were able to move in. That happened to be our youngest son's first birthday. So our joke is that our home there on Marvin Street in Ward 5 that we still live in is his birthday present. But really, it was more of a present to me because I got to move my family to Cape. And it's a city that we love dearly, and that we've spent many, many hours volunteering and trying to improve. Both of our sons were graduates of Alma Schroeder, then through the Central Junior High, Central Middle School, Central High School. Our oldest son is now a SEMO graduate. Our youngest son will be a SEMO graduate in December. And I know Dan knows him quite well. Both of our boys were big fans of Dan. So I am currently on the Cape Girardeau Public Library Board of Trustees. I'm on my 3rd and final term before I term off, and then I would be able to go back on, but I have to take at least 1 full term off. I was the president last year. Very exciting year, if you were watching the news for the library. I told the rest of the team there that, I was probably the president at the right time. You kind of want that wartime general at a time of war, and it worked out great because we had some people that weren't so nice to us, but didn't let it bother me whatsoever. I am not currently the president because planning on succession. I nominated the person that ran against me in the last election and wanted her to take over as president while I still was on the board so I could assist with up and coming and farming up the next set of leaders. Very fun. I'm very, very proud of our library. I'm very proud of all of our city parks and things of that nature, but our library did just win the Missouri Library of the Year award. And that kudos to that staff, because that's not only the last year that I just referenced, we had a lot of challenges going on, but at the same time, we were the Library of the Year. So that's kudos to that staff. Going to keep this real short. Several years ago, in 2018, we had a vacancy, and me and 2 other people volunteered to fill it. When the newspaper ran an article, one person stepped out immediately, and I don't like unopposed. I like choices. I think competition breeds excellence. But I met with the gentleman that was going to be running for that seat, and at the time, we had a child in high school, all sorts of stuff going on all the time, and I said, although if you appoint me, I'll do my best, but I will not campaign. Whereas if you appoint this gentleman, which I believe, we met before the meeting, and I believe he was a genuine and genuinely cared. I said, if you appoint him, he is going to campaign, is my understanding. Well, now I'm in a different boat. We're empty nesters. Kids have graduated. One is going to graduate and move on. If you do appoint me, then I will actively campaign and go for this seat in April, as long as I have your blessing. So this would be a good test run to where if I'm appointed, and if for whatever reason we're feeling, maybe you should go back to the library, I'd be okay with that. So, but I truly do want to do the best for Cape Girardeau. We love this town. We volunteered all over the place. My wife used to walk kids to school all through our ward. It was called the walking school bus. And so she'd leave early with Peyton in hand, and by the time they get to the school, it was like a line of ducks. And so Harry Rediger and I used to walk them every now and then, which was very confusing because we are not related.
Yeah.
Redinger and Rediger. But my son Peyton did win mayor of 2nd grade. He ran on a campaign of better food in the cafeteria and better swings and monkey bars on the playground. And so, but everybody thought he was Harry's grandson, so they thought he was a shoo-in. Anyway, I'm going to just end it there. So I'm assuming you don't have time for questions, so just sit
No,
back
we
down.
do. Yeah, certainly if any council members want to interact.
Really quickly state your name.
Oh, my gosh. Dan, thank you. My name is Eric Redinger. Most people call me Red because of that last name. So Eric Redinger, and I live on 2621 Marvin Street right here in Cape, Ward 5.
All right. Anyone else? Council? No? All right, thanks so much, Mr.
Thank you,
Reininger.
guys.
And I will say, the council has gotten the applications of every single applicant. And so we do have your information, but thank you very much. Anyone else in the audience wishing to appear as an official? Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Tammy Givens, and I'm applying for the Ward 5 position. I have to make some comments about what you said about the weather and the parks and the being in Cape. My husband and I took some of our grandkids to Kappahaw Parks Friday evening. It was beautiful outside, and when I first walked up there, I said to him, wow, I can't believe this used to be Kappahaw Pool. It's been, I mean, I've lived in Cape all my life. I was born here and I've always lived here and have so many memories of summer being at the pool. But as the kids were playing and the weather was beautiful and we were sitting there watching them, I thought, yeah, this is what's been done has been an improvement. Yes, I miss the pool. We have other pools, but it's beautiful. The park is beautiful, and I'm really proud of this city and what we've what's been accomplished and what we've done. But anyway, I was born, like I said, I was born here. I've raised my kids here. They've been through the school system. Most of our grandkids are here in Cape. So I have a long history of Cape. I'm proud of our town. I think it's a beautiful town, and I want to see it progress and grow and be a safe place for families and I'm not a politician. If you look on my application, I've never held any positions or anything in the city. So I think the advantage to that is I can be objective. I can come without any preconceived ideas about what's been done or who's done what or anything like that. I just want to be open and do what's fair for the city, what's best for our citizens, and keep this town a great place to live. So that's my purpose in doing this.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
Does
thank you
anyone have
very
any,
much.
any questions for Ms. Givens or? No? Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Johnson. Appreciate y'all's time and letting us come speak on behalf of the people of Ward 5 and the city. I want to thank the Reverend for the nice prayers. Thank you so much. Hopefully no stones are thrown here. We appreciate that. So a little background about about myself and why I think I'd be a good candidate to fit the vacant seat. Came to college here in 1998. Didn't know much about Cape Girardeau. I grew up in a small town about halfway between here and Springfield, so all my friends knew north and south and west of where I grew up, but fell in love with this town not long after getting here. Played college golf at SEMO from 98, graduated in 02, magna cum laude with a Bachelor in Arts of Organizational Communication. Hung around the golf industry for just a little while and thought, no, that's not the thing for me right now. And my mom, if she was here with us today, she would, not here with us, she's just not here. She would tell you from an early age that I love to tell stories. Good or bad, I love to tell stories. So I knew I wanted to get into sales leadership, maybe business ownership as my professional career took off. So since basically middle of 2004, I've been in food service sales, and recently the last 10 years been in food service management. And why I say that is being in food service industry, if you know anything about it, it's a chaotic problem-solving mess. We ship about 3,000 cases a week to our market, and you can imagine that not all 3,000 of those cases look just like they should, or it's the right product. So when the customer calls you at 5 o'clock on a Friday, your truck's long gone back to the warehouse, you better figure out a way to fix their onion rings that should have been French fries. So you got choices to make when that call is made. How transparent will you be? Will you be honest and tell the truth that you messed up, or will you take blame? My core is transparency to the core. And I think our community, and not only our community, but our entire country, is yearning for transparency. This board is extremely transparent, and I would want to continue to carry that and maybe even further that along. And also problem solving and chaos. Again, there's nothing more chaotic than food service sales. And then fast forward to 2012, we've owned our own business. We own the Tea House complex here in town. So I know a lot about, again, problem solving, chaos, and transparency. Also with food service, you could talk one day or 3 years prior to a person that's the dishwasher. The next thing you know, they own or run the restaurant. So it's really grounded me in a perspective and gaining other perspectives of, hey man, not everybody thinks the way you do. Not everybody believes what you do, but we're all going in the common direction to be successful in business and be successful in a community. And it's really grounded me to that kind of perspective, because you meet all walks of people in food service industry. You got people that have been in other industries that say, hey, I want to do an own restaurant, which I go, I don't know if that's a good idea. We should talk first. And again, you go from the dishwasher or somebody that's just getting started entry level now that run the restaurant. So you got those perspectives. And when it comes, again, back to the transparency, you need an effective communicator as well. And I feel like I've been able to do that my entire life, and then now in my professional career and in our business. Because anybody would tell you, Dave might tell you, if you come to the Tea House complex and you say, I want a brand new driver, we always tell you, ma'am, sir, bring your current driver. And I will tell you, there's been many times to where that 10-year-old driver was a better fit than what we could fit new. And it's funny, when you tell somebody that you're not being sold, they look at you. But again, to my core is I want a customer long-term. I want to be transparent today, 6 months from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. And it's that appreciation that we've built a really local and loyal customer base there. And then also, I think there's some opportunity to, again, with that communication, to tell a really good story. We got a lot of cool stuff going on in this city, and I'm not sure unless you go to our website, or the city's website, that you know about it. Does everybody know about the TIF and why those decisions were made? Good or bad? Have we told the story? Does everybody know? Do you got a cheerleader in Ward 5 and the other wards saying, hey, here's what's going on? What about the water treatment thing that's on the ballot in just a few weeks? Needs to happen, but are we telling the story? Are we communicating that? What about the TTF, the Transportation Trust Fund? It's been approved every 5 years, but it's on the ballot in April. Do we know that story? So bottom line is, I'm ready to serve. I've been in this community since 1998. I'm a busy guy, but I like to be busy. My wife's like, you want to do this? Yes, I do. I want to do this, and I want to serve. Because I'll leave you with this. Einstein said, only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for, yeah, what? No? No, okay, thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. We have another? Yes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Ryan Essex. I've lived in Ward 5 since 2010. I previously served the citizens of Ward 5 from 2008 to the middle of 2020, about the time the pandemic was happening. And I did enjoy my time on council. I felt like I was effective and did what I could for the citizens of Ward 5. But I want to go back a little bit to where I was introduced to the city. I told this story in 2018 when Rhett and I were both standing in the old City Hall. My first introduction to the city was my first job. I started working for the city of Cape when I was 16 years old. In the Parks and Rec Department, I see Brock in the back. I remember he was around back then. And I think that time, every summer until I turned 20, I worked for the city of Cape. And it instilled in me the foundation of hard work and loyalty and, a sense of service. And fast forward a few years, starting my career, I've been at the Gibson Center for Behavioral Change. A lot of people in the community know it. It was previously the Gibson Recovery Center. I've been there now for 20 years. I started at the bottom. For the last 12 years, I've been the chief operating officer running the day-to-day operations. And during that time, I've had extensive experience with budgeting and working with the community and being involved at the state level in various committees and working with the General Assembly and just being involved in advocating for my organization, but when I was on city council, advocating for the city at the state level. This is not a place I thought I would be again when I left city council in 2020. But with recent events, I felt called to, throw my hat in the ring, even if it's on a temporary basis to help fill a void and bring some stability back to the ward. Obviously, based on my previous experience, I believe I can hit the ground running the day I'm sworn in and be able to be that representative that the citizens of Ward 5 need while they're deciding over the next 6 months who their long-term representative is going to be. So that's me in a nutshell. That's why I'm here. I feel like I can do some good here, and I love the city. I've been involved in it for nearly 30 years in some form or fashion, whether it be working for the Parks and Rec Department, whether it be coaching Little League Baseball, American Legion Baseball, high school kids during the summers, and all the way through to my time on City Council. And I'm here to serve again if you so choose. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Essex?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Yes.
I didn't know my neighbor was running, and I don't think he knew I was either. I'm Jim Lawrence, a lifelong resident of the city of Cape. Most of my life has been in Ward 5 here. I'm retired now. I spent 30 years in healthcare, mainly for St. Francis Healthcare System, in a variety of capacities. Most all of it was in leadership. Quite an honor to be so. Last, I was their director of mission. Was also over pastoral care as a lay minister there as well. And I overseen bioethics. And David, I certainly understand what you're saying. I have a degree in nursing, also a Bachelor of Science, and I have a master's in business administration. But the healthcare side, you see what people get into sometimes. The methamphetamine, just as a moment before I talk more about myself, you'd be amazed at people that try it. It's one of those things, it's almost instantly, it will cause you to be addictive to it. As I worked with critical care patients over the years, you'd be amazed at people that would come back, their tox screens that would be positive, just people you would never expect. You know, people are people. Sometimes we fall out there, and unfortunately for Mr. Pierce, this was his time. Well, what I bring to the table, though, is so many years in healthcare here. That's our two largest employers in the city here. I've served as, I said, the director of mission pastoral care. I've served as the director of business development. Was responsible working with the hospital for all the practices that we bought throughout Southeast Missouri, including Cape Girardeau. I did the business assessments for him. We did the feasibility studies. We looked at plant and operation. And I cultivated the relationships with physicians throughout the area for many, many years. So it had to be a win-win situation for both of us, or I wouldn't pursue that. I was on Chamber of Commerce here for many, many years as well. I sit on the Governmental Affairs Committee here. I've completed Leadership Cape in the past. On a side issue, the Cape Woods, I was one of the two individuals that petitioned the city to set that aside. And the city has done an excellent job to leave that open for our children to see the beauty of the city, and our trail system is really second to nobody. You're going to get up to the Katy Trail system before you're going to see anything like Cape Girardeau has. As far as community activities, I was president of the Catholic Charities Board of Directors. One of my projects and one of the things I got started was the Women's Life House that we brought here to Cape Girardeau. As I went off the board, there are other individuals that, like Rick Cuban, some of the others that took on that project and brought that to fruition. As past president of the American Association of Physician Liaisons, I also worked extensively with public safety. For 15 years, I was a state Bureau of Emergency Medical Services training officer. It's from 81 until 95. So there about that time. Worked with City of Cape, Fire and Police Department from my position there. Had 25 counties in Southeast Missouri that I took care of, about 41 ambulance services. So I'm used to working with people. I'd love to work with the city in this capacity, but we have, you know, other excellent individuals as well for this. This is all about people, no matter what you do for a living. We are here to serve the citizens of Cape, and that's what I would like to do as well, in whatever capacity that sees fit. But be happy to serve in that capacity, but also recognizing we got great people, including somebody that's already served in that capacity as well. If God wills it, whoever it is will step up and do the job for you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Mr. Lawrence, no. Thank you so much. Anyone else here to speak? No, okay. I will say Ms. Shannon Truxell asked me to convey that she had hoped to be here, but she had a work commitment that prevented her from coming here tonight. All right, thank you again for all the applicants. Truly, it's encouraging just to read the applications and to hear from you all and hear about the passion in the city and the interest in serving your community. All right, next we have the consent agenda review. Dr. Haskin.
Mayor, thank you. Council, we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, added to the review for you tonight. We'll take up number 6. Basically, we're asking for a request to execute an agreement with Frontenberger for the PRS2 stormwater projects. Number 7, we have an L&I agreement with Russ Communications to install a sign at 418 Broadway. Number 8, we have an L&I agreement with Guilford Trust for the installation of a retaining wall located at 439 Marie Street. Number 9, we have another L&I agreement with Richard Nolan and his wife Colleen to place specific improvements on an unimproved portion of Flat Avenue. We have number 10, obviously, as we've been discussing, establishing a schedule for the election of a council member for Ward 5. Number 11, we're ready to accept improvements and authorize final payment to Frontenberger for the West End Boulevard improvements. And finally, number 12, we are ready to accept the improvements and finalize the final payment to LAPE for the pedestrian walkway and Kings Highway intersection improvements. Mayor, that concludes the review.
Thank you, Dr. Haskin. We will now move into regular session. Ms. Conrad, is there we'll do the call of order and a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bliss?
Here.
Mr. Cantrell?
Here.
Mayor Kinder?
Here?
Mr. Presson?
Here.
Ms. Randle?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
All right, thank you. Council, we have an agenda before us. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor then of the agenda as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, the agenda is carried. We have three public hearings tonight. First, I'll open the public hearing to consider the proposed voluntary annexation and zoning of property located at 3082 County Road 620. Is there anyone wishing to appear for that public hearing? All right, seeing none, I will close that public hearing. Secondly, we have a public hearing to consider the proposed voluntary annexation and zoning of property located at 3268 Perryville Road. Is there anyone here to appear for that? Seeing none, then I will close that public hearing. And then thirdly, a public hearing to consider a request for a special use permit for the purposes of constructing, maintaining, and operating a restaurant drive-through at 716 and 718 Broadway. Anyone here to speak to that? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Brandon Beninati. I'm the general manager of Tote Roofing and Construction, speaking on behalf of Tote Roofing and Ronnie's Mac Bar. We are generally very excited, so as Old Town Cape, to bring this small growing franchise to our community. One of our selling points was downtown Cape, the building location next to the university, the community in itself, and the option to have a drive-through for them. Estimated educated projection guess, 40 to 60% of their business will be going through that drive-through. So we would appreciate your approval, consideration for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to comment? Yes.
Liz Haynes, Executive Director of Old Town Cape. So I think most of you know we do a lot of business recruitment at Old Town Cape and serve as facilitator often between entrepreneurs and developers coming into our downtown. So about a year ago, we met with the franchise owners from Texas, as well as Grace Keene, who is bringing the franchise along with her family. We showed them we took them on a driving tour and showed them the momentum happening in our downtown, and they looked at a couple different sites and ultimately chose this location. And I really feel strongly that Roni's will be a destination business for our community, great for our local economy. The franchise originated in Texas, and that location sees folks coming in from all across the world, actually. They had someone go there from Japan. So really will be great for our downtown. The proximity to our campus definitely will be a huge draw. This business model is will be a big draw for college students. We hear all the time that we need another drive-through in our downtown, so this absolutely fills a gap in our downtown community as well. In addition, it fills a vacant space in our downtown and will encourage other businesses to locate downtown. It will increase property values and bring more sales tax revenue into the community. So hope you will strongly consider approving the drive-through. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wishing to make a comment? during this public hearing? Yes.
Michelle Latham, I actually didn't expect to speak on this, but I felt compelled to do so as a fellow business owner in the downtown area. I was actually included in that initial meeting with the original owners of Roni's in Texas, and it's been a year ago, as Liz said, and I'm very excited at the prospect of having another new business downtown and watching it grow and cater to another demographic other than, bourbon and bitters. Have to put a plug in for that. And so I just wanted to say I'm in support of it as well, and I hope that you'll consider it and make an exception. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to? No? All right, seeing none, I will close the public hearing on that issue then. We will next begin with deal with our consent agenda. Mr. Young, would you please read that?
Bill 2493, an ordinance appropriating funds for operating expenditures, capital expenditures transfer for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024 in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 2493, an ordinance appropriating funds for operating expenditures, capital expenditures, and transfers to the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024 in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 2494, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Bonenberger Concreters, Inc. for PRS2 stormwater projects. Bill 2495, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a license and indemnity agreement with Rust Communications, Inc. to place certain improvements at 418 Broadway in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 2496, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a license and indemnity agreement with the Gifford Qualified Spousal Trust Agreement to place certain improvements along North Spring Street, adjacent to property located at 439 Maurice Street in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 2497, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a license and indemnity agreement with Rachel Newland and Colleen Newland to place certain improvements on an unimproved portion of Flat Avenue in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 24103, a resolution establishing a schedule for the election of a council member from Ward 5 in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
All right, thank you, Mr. Young. Council, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of the consent agenda as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That carries. We have several new ordinances tonight. As always, we will have a staff member discuss the bill, the ordinance, and then if anyone in the audience wishes to appear on behalf of that particular item, you may do so then. First, we have Bill 2498, an ordinance annexing land located at 560 Silverado Trail within the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. This is the first reading. Mr. Shrimplin. Oh, Mr. Pulley.
Thank you, Mayor. Dr. Haskin, Council. The attached ordinance annexed the property at 560 Silverado Trail into the city limits. A public hearing was held on September 3rd, 2024 to consider the proposed annex and zoning of the property R1. Ordinances for the zoning and ward boundaries extensions are on the agenda as separate items.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to appear for Bill 2498? All right, seeing none then, Council, is there a motion to approve Bill 2498?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Any addition to the city of Cape Girardeau is very welcome, so I'm excited to have this piece of property join the city limits of Cape.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all in favor then of Bill 2498, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Bill 2499, an ordinance amending Chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Cape Girardeau, Missouri by zoning newly annexed property located at 560 Silverado Trail as R1, single-family suburban residential district. It's first reading. Mr. Pulley.
The attached ordinance zones the property at 560 Silverado Trail as R1, single-family suburban residential district.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience wishing to appear? State? No? Seeing none then. Council, is there a motion to approve Bill 2499?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor then of Bill 2499, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Bill 24100, an ordinance extending the boundaries of Ward 4 to include property newly annexed into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. It's the first reading.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance extends the boundaries of Ward 4 to include the new property annexed into the city limits of Cape Girardeau.
Okay. Anyone in the audience? And that, Scouts, is how property becomes part of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Anyone in the audience wishing to appear? No? Council, is there a motion to approve Bill 24-100?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All right, seeing none, Bill, is there, all those in favor, sorry, of Bill 24-100, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Bill 24-101, an ordinance granting a special use permit to Keen Mac LLC for the purposes of constructing, maintaining, and operating a restaurant drive-through at 716 and 718 Broadway in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. It's the first reading.
Thank you. This attached ordinance grants a special use permit for a restaurant drive-through at 716 and 718 Broadway. A public hearing on the special use permit was held on October 7th, 2024. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on September 11th, 2024, and recommended approval of the special use permit with a vote of 7 in favor and 0 in opposition.
All right, anyone in the audience wishing to make a comment? Seeing none, then, council, is there a motion to approve Bill 24-101?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I was not familiar with the Roni's restaurant franchise, and I'd looked it up real quick on my phone. I'm very excited for that. I also wanted to take the time to thank the Planning and Zoning Commission and the work with the developers because, you know, just like any historic downtown, there are unique challenges and you have to think innovatively. And this is one of those solutions that came about, and that good work and collaboration between both the staff and our planning and zoning as well as the developers. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the product is. So.
Yeah, I was just going to add the same, you know, I've got a 4-year-old, so this is going to be a very exciting thing. Anything to deal with cheese and noodles is always top notch. But as you guys have probably all noticed on this council, we have constant conversation about the modern adaptation of historic structures. How do we make these buildings viable for the future, exciting for people, exciting for development? And this is an example of one way that we make a special use in order to get a new adaptation of a historic structure. This is, and Liz, maybe you correct me, this is one of the most historic buildings on Broadway. It's very, very old. There's a lot of noted history at that structure. And so this is just the next generation of adaptation that takes it into the future. So thank you all for bringing this forward.
And I would just like to compliment Tote Construction. They were very instrumental, obviously, in this project. They've been very instrumental in the renovation of the Broadway Theater and numerous other old buildings in downtown Cape. And I think we owe them a lot of gratitude to get to the point we are today. I look forward to this new business.
I just had one addendum in my kudos and appreciation. I did not mention Old Town Cape and all the work they did to make this happen as well. So great work.
I also want to note too, I would say, Liz, how many months since we approved the Broadway Theater? Was it been like 15 months maybe? And I would say maybe 4 of those constructions have been revitalized in 15 months or working towards that. So I think that says a lot about our city efforts, partnership efforts with developers and our organization in the city. So thank you for spearheading that. So transforming that block very, very quickly. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other comments? Great. All right, council, all in favor then of Bill 24-101, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion carries. And lastly, we have Bill 24-102, an ordinance approving the record plat of Cape West Crossing East, 3rd subdivision. First reading.
The attached ordinance approves a record plat. This is turning 3 lots into 2 lots for the subdivision at 520, 550, and 580 South Mount Auburn Road.
All right, anyone in the audience wishing to comment? All right, seeing none, then council, is there a motion to approve Bill 24-102?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? No? All right, all those in favor then of Bill 24-102, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. All right, lastly, we have as we have discussed, we have 2 appointments to make tonight. First is the appointment to the Airport Advisory Board. That goes to Mr. Kent Ward. Congratulations to him.
like to make a motion?
Yes, we do need to make a motion. Is there a motion to approve Kent Ward for that
So moved.
Second.
spot? Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor then of approving Kent Ward to the Airport Advisory Board, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Now, congratulations. Sorry, I always try and skip that part. And then secondly, for the Ward 5 vacancy, that application, the applicant that won that vote is Mr. Ryan Essex. Is there a motion to approve Mr. Essex? for
So
this spot?
moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor then of approving Ryan Essex for the Ward 5 vacancy, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Essex. And again, thanks to all the applicants for that
Yes.
spot. As we discussed earlier, the election process will open up in a few weeks for that spot in April.
I would just like to say, the applicants and the quality of applicants, I think it really embodies the American spirit that when the government or a body of government comes in need or has a challenge, American people always step up. And the citizens of Cape are no exception to that, especially of Ward 5. Thank you all for putting forth the effort. Much appreciated.
All right. Thank you. Under other business, this is an opportunity for folks to pre-register if they wish to speak to something not on the agenda for tonight. We did have 2 people register to make a statement. As always, this is an opportunity for our audience, our citizens to come forward. You'll have up to 3 minutes to come to the podium and introduce yourself and explain what your concern is. It's not a time where the council goes into a big discussion. We will listen to what you have to say. And so the first person to sign up for tonight is Mr. Chris Snyder. Is Mr. Snyder here? Yes.
Evening, Team Cape. Christopher Snyder. I'm on Team Nate. Scouts, if you're in a good mood, Andrew Stone told me he's buying ice cream for the team tonight. I'm impressed that we have 5 people stand up and talk about being on city council. That's pretty cool. Good words. Quick note, I've been here for 20 years and we own a significant amount of rental property. We live in the world of rentals. Mightily involved in rehabbing South Cape. Work heavily with several people over here dealing with dilapidated properties. One of the problems that has continued to come up in our world involving the nuisance department is how we communicate. So I won't bore you with the details, but about 12 years ago, I missed a court date for a blinker ticket, like a bad blinker in a truck. And I remember coming downstairs in my house going, I think that was Thursday. And I look at the ticket and it was Tuesday. And so I called my attorney and I said, hey, I was sick Tuesday. Can you help me out? And he called back and he said, it's a good thing you didn't show up for court because you had a warrant for your arrest. And I said, do what? Long story short, I owned a property at 500 Morgan Oak and I had a bench warrant for my arrest for a nuisance ticket for the grass being too tall. Ended up getting sorted out in the shuffle, but I could have been arrested in front of my children, not something anyone would like to see. Fast forward to today. That was back when our nuisance department was with the police department. I was very much opposed to it being with the police department. It went back to the city and was being handled by the inspection department. In my opinion, it worked out very well for all those years. Trevor and I disagree, and that's okay. We're back with the police department now. We're having the same issues. So I get a call September 18th from one of the nuisance officers saying, hey, I'm writing you a ticket. It's coming in the mail for 612 North Fountain. And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. And she goes, well, I sent out a warning 10 days ago, never received it. So last week, I get another ticket in the mail for a different property that I also didn't get a warning on, which sparked my memory. I never got that ticket in the mail. So I called the officer and I said, hey, I not only didn't get the warning, but now I haven't received the ticket. And mind you, I live at 912 Carew. You could throw a baseball 3 times and land on the new police station. And so I still need to go drive down to the police station and pick up said ticket, evidently, because I have to go to court and have this conversation of didn't receive the warning, didn't receive the ticket. proof's in the pudding. So I would suggest we come up with a very robust way for communications, especially with those of us who touch about 300 doors of rental properties in town. Like, we're a known quantity. We've been in the same building forever. Addresses are easily findable. Phone numbers on the internet, same number since 1995. So I'd love to see us come up with a better way to connect and communicate with our nuisance department.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Mr.
guys. Have a
Snyder.
good day.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we have Ms. Susan Barrett. Yes.
Hello. I'm Susan Barrett, and yes, I have a big complaint about the property next door to my home. Mom and Dad moved in this house 1 month before I was even born, so I've been in the house a long time. My uncle owned the house next door that I'm talking about. I have been to the abatement officer. I have been to the little guy downstairs. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head now. But anyway, they said that they've done everything they can to get these people to clean up their property. It's a rent-to-own place. I can't remember the name of the company that actually owns the property, but I have taken so many pictures of the property next door. They have taken a dog pen and put it around their property, saying that that's their boundary line. Well, that's the ugliest thing you ever want to see anyway, a dog pen. They have a trailer in their backyard. The whole bottom of it is, the bottom flooring anyway, is rotted. But they told the abatement officer that they're going to keep it and they're going to work on it. This was in May, is when the abatement officer was there. And she told me that she was going to let them work on it. Well, they ain't doing nothing. They're not going to.
Ms. Barrett, I tell you what, if we could speak after the meeting, I think instead of perhaps going into a detailed discussion of a neighbor who isn't perhaps here to defend themselves, it might be best if we could handle that conversation after the meeting tonight in just a few minutes, if that's all right?
That's fine. I just need to know where to go to
Sure.
get some help.
Well, I thought that's where you were going, and so I think we can figure that out. But yeah, thank you very much.
That's fine, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll find you right after the meeting, if you can wait a few minutes. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That is it for our meeting tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Discussion. All in favor then of adjourning tonight?